And what's up, everybody? It's Israel Carter back again with the Elevated Man. Always bringing you the most fresh, most reliable, most enthusiastic content to date. No, but seriously, today I think I want to hit a subject that, it plagues the world today, and we're here to put a stop to it. So, you've seen the ever-growing fad of the Photoshop body, the influencer who doesn't live the lifestyle they say they live, the person who rents the car to take the picture, the plane to take the picture, that has to get just the right angle to appear more than they are. That would be called a lack of authenticity. They would be called a deceiver, aka a liar, being somebody who they are not. If the only time you look good is when you have a 175 watt bulb pointed at a 90-degree angle with your hip twisted so far out of contortion that it looks like your back is about to break, then you probably don't really look that way. And if the only time you ever take pictures is when your friends let you borrow a couple of stacks so you can snap an Instagram pic, put a motivational quote, and then call yourself an entrepreneur, you're probably a wantrepreneur, right? So today's topic is going to be authenticity. So being true to yourself, being true to others, being true in a world full of fake. And the reason the topic is so important to me, and it's something you could talk about for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, is just because you can talk about it for hours and hours and hours, and the need for it and the want for it, and how sometimes when authenticity shows itself, it's oftentimes disagreed with, right? Authenticity sometimes hurts. Authenticity sometimes doesn't get you what you want in the short term, but I can guarantee you authenticity will get you what you want in the long run. And there's been a quote that I've lived by for a long time. I haven't always been the best at it, right? So I spent a lot of my time trying to be somebody that I wasn't, trying to be and act with this machismo and trying to act as if, right? The whole fake it till you make it type mentality. And I fell in the trap of trying to be somebody I wasn't for people that didn't matter, right? Instead of trying to be who I wanted to be for myself and my family, I was trying to be somebody for the outside image of somebody who are the people that don't even matter, the people that are irrelevant in my life. So I was being authentically fake to the people that were around me. And the people that were closest to me knew it. They could tell. I mean, when the tough guy isn't the tough guy, or when you hear like, oh, he's just a big teddy bear, like from the people that are close around or whatever you hear, like you get a taste of who they really are, right? And, you know, you put the machismo and the macho to the side, you figure out exactly who they are. But there's this quote, right? And it comes from the idea of radical honesty, and it comes from Perzan Irani. Was the first real time that I'd heard it, and from the Rabras. And these guys have all since grown up into just amazing influencers. And I use that term so loosely. When I say influencer, I just mean they have impacted so many people. They were radically honest with themselves. They were just spirit-filled, honest men who went about their lives in a way that just showed what honesty and what authenticity could do. And it was the first time that I'd heard it was with them and their pal Perzan. So it's the more you reveal, the less you have to hide. The less you have to hide, the less you are worried about being found out. The less you are worried about being found out, the more attention you can give someone. That's where intimacy and freedom exist. And the idea that I gathered from this is that, you know, the old adage or the old phrase that, like, you know, you don't want to lie, you don't want to do those types of things because then you have to remember the lie. And then you can no longer be authentic, you can no longer be genuine because you're so worried about what if they find out. And you may not think that, you may not think what if they find out, but somewhere tucked away in your brain when you're living your daily life, the first time you get a text that says, hey, we need to talk, and it's someone who's been told that lie, you already know. The first thing you do, you're like, oh no, they know, and they want to talk about it. In reality, they probably have no idea. They just, something came up and they really need to get it off their chest, and it's not that big a deal. But you end up stressing yourself out over things that you don't necessarily need to if you'd have just been authentic in the first place. So what I'm here to do is to just bring some light on what it would do for you to be radically honest with yourself and radically honest with those around you. So when you are fake, when you are disingenuous, when you are anything other than authentic, you not only do a disservice to you, but you do a disservice to those around you, because the gifts that you have and the things that you have to offer to the people around you and to your family and to the environment around you, you are taking that away. You are not giving to them the potential of who, what, and how you can be. And that is such a far cry from what we were called to do as human beings on this planet. We are given one life, one finite instance, one mere snap in the memory of the universe, just to make an impact, to honor the God that we live for, to honor the people that we live for, to honor the emotions, to honor everything that we are destined to do. When you are disingenuous and your authenticity fades to the background, you are taking away the blessing that you can provide this world. Anybody who's ever been caught in a lie, the next thing that follows, you either get in trouble, you feel shameful, you have to apologize, you cause people tears, you cause people to live through pain, you cause yourself to live through pain because you couldn't be authentic. When the flip side of that is you can be authentic and be true to yourself and cause just a little bit of hurt, but in the end, it's a real hurt. It's not a hurt based on false premise. It's not a hurt based on a lie, based on being disingenuous, doing things out of spite. It's an authentic, hey, I feel this way. And although your feelings might be hurt right now, I am being transparent. I am being vulnerable. I am being honest with you. And those are the types of things, that's where people grow. Think back to the time somebody lied to you and the hurt that it caused, whether you were younger, older, now, just the things that people have done in the past where you've been like, now I can't trust people. Now I can't do this. Now I'm less likely to trust, or I'm less likely to love. You've ever been cheated on when somebody was disingenuous, or, they were unauthentic to you, and it hurt you, and it may have caused walls to go up. It may have caused pain to rise up in your life. And now you're not willing to give other people a chance, at least for a short amount of time, because of the fact that you feel like the next person is not going to be genuine. They're not going to be authentic. And it's based out of a false reality that people can be authentic, and that pain that you're feeling at that particular moment is based on a false premise. It's based on somebody who couldn't be genuine with you. And so when you are not genuine, you are doing a disservice not only to yourself, but the people that are around you. You are taking away the blessings of who you could be as a human and who they can be as a human, because you are forcing a false scenario in their lives, and you're giving them false security and giving yourself false security. So with all that being said, kind of the next area that I go to is, it's in our nature, it's in our selfish nature to fabricate and falsify who we are so that we may appear to be something more than what we are, right? You have to be intentional 24/7 and conscious of what you're saying and thinking. Because one thing after another, you start going down this path, you start trying to do these things, you start becoming something that you're not, or shouldn't say becoming, but you start to behave in a way that you think others want you to behave. You lose sight of how you should behave because you're doing it for a show. You're not staying true to yourself. I had a conversation with somebody who was talking to me about what I should do for this podcast, what I should do for what I talk about, and the suggestions that I should get. Well, the solutions and things that I talk about, I will never talk about anything that's not true to me. I will never bring to this microphone something that is not 100% true to me. If I haven't done certain things to solve problems, I will not tell you that's what you need to do. If I've never done it, if I've never walked those shoes myself, if I've never been able to go down that path to solve this, to do that, elevate this, I'm not going to do it because it's not true to me. I can't be authentic and tell you this is how you should solve this problem if I don't know that it solves this problem. I can make assumptions. I can come up with a hypothesis or a theory about why you should do certain things. But at the end of the day, this is for me to speak my truth and what has happened in my life to get me to where I'm at. I'm nowhere near where I want to be if we're being authentic right now. And I'm at the beginning steps. I'm humbly at the beginning steps of a rebuilding phase in my life as I go through a job transition, as I go through the stages of having my son more and more and more, and learning how to be a father and failing at times and doing well at times, and the growing pains that you have as a human being on this planet, as a man, as a woman, as people in this world. I'm walking through the steps of what it looks like. So, and being authentic is the only thing that I can do to make sure that that's the one thing I can control. Because you and I can both agree that there is nothing in this life that is certain except for taxes and death. Well, and change. We know things are going to change. But those are the only three things that are certain. Well, the other thing that I can guarantee is certain in my life is the authenticity that I bring to the table. I will never have to say that I wasn't who I was supposed to be. Yes, there are areas in life where you bring it all to the table, and then there are areas in life where you don't necessarily show all your cards of who you are, because people will take advantage of that, because there is purpose in not revealing all of your cards, and to understand who you are as a person and to benefit those around you. There's levels to the authenticity, but as long as you are true to exactly who you are every day, from the time you wake up to the middle of the day to the night, you will never have to worry about questioning yourself. Think about this. If you're struggling at work, or you're struggling in your weight loss, or you're struggling with your sex life, or you're struggling with your marriage, and you were to really sit down and say, why? Why am I struggling, right? Like, why are these things happening? And then you were honest about the effort that you put in to get out of that situation. Like, say you're just getting crushed at work and all you can do is come home and just go to bed, or you're so tired you can't do anything, you just come home and go to bed. Yeah, you might be tired and you might be exhausted. But I guarantee if you were honest with what was really going on in your life while you were at work and while you were at home, you would realize there is too much white space in your calendar, and there are too many things you are leaving left undone, that if you would just wake up and put a little bit more effort in, you could probably rise above the level that you thought you could in the first place. You have a test that's coming up, and then you take it and you fail, and all you can say is it was too hard, the material was too complex. But when you go back, did you really put the effort in? Did you study? Did you really use every single moment and resource that you could have to pass that test? Did you? Are you being authentic with yourself? When you take the power away from external circumstances, and when you take the guesswork out of things, and you start being truthful and honest and authentic with yourself, you take the power away from the external circumstance. Somebody who's broke, listen to somebody who's broke or having a bad day. They will literally blame it on everything other than themselves. Literally. They will say, oh, well, it's this, or they made my quotas higher, or, they did this to me, or they did that. When you would just wake up and realize, like, you put yourself in that situation. You put yourself in a position to be taken advantage of by the external circumstances of your situation. You start to take away the power of the external. You start to understand that when you take control of what you are doing and you're authentic with yourself, that you start to gain that power back. And unless, like I said earlier, unless you're 100% intentional every single day and you're conscious of what you say, what you think, what you do, it can get out of hand pretty quick. So I say all that to say there's so much more for the purpose of being authentic, in just your day-to-day life with your friends and family and your coworkers and those types of people. But it makes the world around you such a better place when you just are who you are. And I don't mean being an asshole. I don't mean being mean to people and just being like, well, I'm a Gemini, so yep, that's just how I am. Like, oh, I'm a Scorpio. This is just my month. It is what it is. I don't mean that. I mean being honest with who you are. Becoming who you are destined to be. And you will never unlock that potential until you start being authentic. So if you guys enjoyed the talk, this one's a little bit shorter. If you guys enjoyed it, subscribe, like, share. Give me some tips. Hey, if I missed a point, let me know. If there's something that you feel like you might have a little bit more education on, or just a topic you'd like me to speak on, or if you have some more insight on something like this, let me know. Again, you can follow me at Elevated Man on Instagram, The Elevated Man on Facebook, and now Israel, The Elevated Man Carter on YouTube. You guys tune in. I'm going to continue to punch out as much as I can. I'm just going to bring to you guys every single thing that's true to me, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you think of any questions or you have anything you'd like to say, you guys always reach out. Leave me a like, subscribe, comment, share, something. Just let me know. You guys, as always, stay focused, stay authentic, stay dedicated, and stay elevated. Take care.